Hello. We are live. Pre-recorded, but live. All my videos are no cuts, one take. My name is Andrew Prometheus, and I'm here to deliver the forbidden knowledge. In my cup today, I have coconut water, one of my favorites. This means that today's video is brought to you by coconut water. I am brought to you by coconut water, right? You may be able to tell I made some progress on my tattoo, but it is also not yet finished. This is why I'm not able to wear a t-shirt, and also why I have one of my warmest hats in my possession on. This is called a Bork hat, I believe, and it's very similar to the hat that you will see on Vlad the Impaler if you look up pictures of him. I'm a big fan of his work, you could say. But without further ado, let's talk about the topic of today's video. Why is the devil shown with red skin? In fiction, in media, in fantasy, why? Now I'm making this video because I really couldn't find a good video on it. So if you've made one, my apologies, yours didn't pop up. But in my search, there was no good answer. And when I find myself with an answer that isn't readily available, I have to put it out. So, first I'd like to share with you a book that I'm reading. Came in the mail today. I'm using a pen to mark the page. Very excited about this book. The title of it is Kabbalah, Qlipoth and Geoetic Magic by Thomas Karlsson. You may or may not have heard of Thomas Karlsson. If you study the left-hand path and the dark side, hopefully you have heard of him. His work is very strong. I enjoy reading just about anything he's ever written. Honestly, he's a phenomenal author, writer, scholar, etc. But for today's video, specifically, why is the devil shown as red? I'd like to reference what is considered to be Kabbalah, which is ancient mysticism, sometimes referred to under the umbrella of Judaism, but sometimes also seen under Greek and Christian and other umbrellas. But the gist of it is, 10 or 11 planets are considered in a certain arrangement to represent the tree of life, or the foundation of the hierarchy of existence. With the different spheres, different dimensions, it can be called different mirrors, right? There's plenty of different ways to look at it. But I found a very interesting thing, which I'd like to share with you. The fifth, what is called a Sephiroth, where you may or may not have played Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy VII, and you may remember fighting against Sephiroth. This is what he was named after, right? The Holy Tree of Life. So, the fifth Sephiroth is named Gibora, or Din, and I'd like to read to you what Thomas Karlsson has written about it. Gibora or Din corresponds to the principle of law, separation, and severity. This is the disintegrating principle that creates distance and space to enable individual existence. Satan and the dark forces have, according to many Kabbalists, their origin in this Sephirah, since they represent the principles that broke free from the original unity. If this Sephirah is unbalanced, it can cause everything to disintegrate into incoherent particles. Gibora is associated with the planet Mars. So, are you familiar with what color Mars is? Right, Mars is red. I don't think it's a coincidence that in this belief system, it's understood that Satan, who is oftentimes seen as the devil, comes from Mars, right? The red planet. I think this is a pretty logical explanation, considering that when you study evil, the colors of evil are typically black and red, which when you look at the planetary systems, these are the planets Saturn and the planets Mars. right? And unfortunately, these two planets have been very demonized or satanized. You may or may not notice, black and red are some of my favorite colors. My favorite color my entire life has actually been red. My second favorite is probably black. But Mars is oftentimes a planet that represents war or warfare. If you look up the god Mars in the pantheon of the Greco-Roman system. But this is one explanation for why Satan or the devil is shown as red. But I'd also like to add one piece to it. When you study this, the devil started to be shown as red right around the 21st century. That's the earliest I can find of it. In Western media. So if you study it past a little farther, in medieval times, somebody like, I'm not sure if Chaucer actually was medieval or not, but I do know that Chaucer, the author, showed the devil as being green. And during medieval times, I wish I had somebody to cite. I should have dug a little deeper, but the devil was shown as being black, with black skin. Now, I think it must be pointed out why red skin or black skin would be seen as evil. I think that this is dormant, subconscious racism coming out, or maybe even conscious, right? When you study colonialism and America, it's widely understood that the Native American Indian was called the Red Man. I think that kind of says it right there. So you've got to look at who is describing these devils and these demons, what they are afraid of and what they hate in their hearts. So I think that's something to look at. So between the Kabbalistic explanation of Satan originating on the planet Mars and racist human beings who are afraid of or hate people with red skin or black skin according to their belief systems. This is a very quick explanation on why the devil might be portrayed with red skin. Other explanations are because he lives somewhere that's very hot, that it's a representation of fire, that it's a representation of blood, that it's any of those things. If you believe that, you go right ahead. But I think that in the traditional roots of something like the Tree of Life and the Kabbalah, this is very interesting. And I also think that a more recent explanation, considering something like maybe racist colonists, was also a very interesting point to add to this. So, this is why maybe the devil is shown with red skin. I'm Andrew Prometheus, and I'll be back again soon. I'd like to add that I don't personally believe Satan is the devil, but we can save that for a whole nother topic of discussion. Be safe, stay dangerous, continue to learn.